Adrian Wojnarowski, Woj, ESPN GOAT, you could argue, has announced his retirement from the news industry and is leaving ESPN. Woj obviously a little older now, not the most family-centric job of just covering news, and you're constantly on the phone, constantly awake at all hours of the night, doing everything of that nature. It's just a lot. And
you can see how he aged. Did you see the before and after picture?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
He actually
looks like he was a president or something.
He retired before LeBron did. LeBron outlived Woj in the NBA, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But Adrian Wojnarowski is going to be the GM of the St. Bonaventure basketball team.
Oh, nice.
So he's not retiring completely, but he's retiring from the news industry, which I think is a huge weight off of his shoulders.
Yeah.
They said he left $20 million on the table, which means that it was a hard decision to make, but I think he just chose his overall personal welfare over his wallet,
which I commend him for.
Yeah, I heavily respect him for that. I guess the first thing I'll ask y'all: how did you find out?
IG.
Oh my God. I was at work and I just saw the Twitter go off, and I was scrolling through Twitter and Woj put out the tweet, and I'm like, what is he tweeting? What's an image? And I was like, oh, he's retiring. I was like, all right.
Did you think it was one of those fake news accounts?
No, I knew it was him.
Yeah.
So I clicked on his account.
Yeah, because I have the notifications turned on.
Yeah.
I was asleep for most of the morning. I woke up and I opened Twitter and I see a Woj notification. And I just see like a big statement, and I'm like, something happened with one player or a team or something.
Right.
And then it said, I'm leaving something to go back to my own, and I'm like, did he just leave?
No way.
Like, there's no shot.
It was just really random
Surprising.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
That's all I
a
can say about that.
not a very public person, so like I can understand why no one knows. But yeah, I mean, a lot of outpouring support for him from his colleagues at ESPN and a lot of his friends growing up and went to school with, everything like that. So yeah, they gave him his nice little farewell, final hurrah. So yeah, that's essentially the story of Woj. Obviously came onto the scene years ago. Started with Yahoo, actually, by doing his segment, The Vertical, with Woj. That's how I first found out about him.
Yep.
And they went to ESPN and really took off. So yeah, since Antoine, since you are I guess a faux St. Bonaventure alum, since you never actually stepped foot on campus, I'll let you cook up about Woj for like maybe a couple minutes.
Yeah. My diploma from St. Bonaventure is behind Tyler. It's on the wall. It's the second one on the bottom if you see it. The top one is from FDU. I graduated in 2022 with my master's in sports journalism. So Woj was a big part of what we learned. One of our main professors, I forgot his name. It'll come to him. Dr. Moritz. He was a big basketball guy, of course.
He's good friends with him, right?
A lot of them are. Woj is really connected with Bonnie alum and Bonnie anything. He's at the games for the college basketball games all the time. Also, Tim Bontemps is also a Bonnie alum.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He went to St. Bonaventure as well. So he's still at ESPN right now. But I had the honor of sitting in a Zoom with Woj for one of our classes in sport in our first 2 semesters. Woj was on. Bontemps was supposed to join, but he did not make it that night. Other reporters made it that were from the New York Post. And Woj was there. And Woj had his camera on, which we were all shocked because we were like, this man's not going to turn on his camera. And he did.
I mean, you got to set a good example. If you're in a high standing, you kind of have to.
Yeah. Everyone did. And he was in a hotel room. I think it was almost trade deadline season. I don't remember off the top of my head, but also a fun fact: Woj started off at the Bergen Record.
Yes, that I did know
in our
about
own
that.
backyard.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, he started off there. He's a local guy.
Where's he from?
He's around here, Jersey. But but where I work in Hacken, I'm not putting up where I work, right? So there's an apartment building now that's called the Press Room, I think.
Speak a little loud for the people.
I think it's called the Press Room. That's where the Bergen Record used to be stationed. That's why the apartment building is called the Press Room. I forget, or something else related to the newspaper.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Woj, I can't even tell you guys how many times this man glanced over to his right to his phone. It probably had to be over 1,000 times.
Wow.
It was frantic, but everyone knew what he was doing and what his job entailed. So none of us said, "Hey, Woj, what are you doing? Hey, what?" Like, everyone just knew, like, this guy's working and he's looking at his phone. He texted about probably 100 times.
Wow.
And then he got a phone call.
Yeah.
And immediately he was speaking as well, went on mute and took the phone call and came back and like filmed it. And my professor was like, "Hey, if you got to break something, like, go ahead." He's like, "No, like, it's fine. I'm handling it."
That's crazy.
But,
Imagine 24/7. He's just constantly on the phone.
But he didn't look at the camera straight on for like a good minute.
Yeah.
He was glancing left, right, like crazy. And I was like, this guy's, I don't know how he doesn't lose his mind.
Yeah.
It was nonstop. And, everyone knows like his job. So no one was questioning him about anything. Dr. Moritz, of course, Woj is probably the most decorated alum there that's made it sports wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was great talking to him. You could see he enjoyed what he did. The job that he did as a senior insider is, like Tyler said, you're probably up for 20 out of the 24 hours of the day. You're probably getting about 4 hours of sleep, not even.
Yeah, because you got to be like, you have busy like it's a very seasonal job, even though it's year round.
It's a lot of traveling for Woj.
Your hectic times are during trade deadline, during free agency, the draft, kind of all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was traveling with ESPN across the country from LA to Connecticut probably constantly.
Yep.
He's on a different sleep schedule. He also has a family. He always talked about how like his wife was always used to his schedule. I don't know how many kids he has, but yeah, Woj, I think he's 54, 55. He's retiring at the age, but he's going back to what he loves to do, which is St. Bonaventure.
Yeah.
He has a really close connection with head coach Mark Schmidt, who's been there for a long time. And he, of course, can give a lot of intel into their college basketball program. And I think he's going to take on a lot of recruiting roles, a lot of, I think, branding stuff, which helps them a lot. And he's giving back to something he loves.
Right.
Which is what he wanted to do.
And he's built up such a massive platform, too, that it's going to be pretty seamless for everything else. So, yeah, I mean, look, I think when you realize the position you're in and the amount of money you've made and you're sacrificing so much to get to the point where you're at, that sometimes it's just like, hey, like, I think I've had enough. And I think he knew it was the right time to step away, kind of like what Mark Cuban did with Shark Tank. It's taking away time from your family. And you got to make that sort of decision. And sometimes you have to, if you love something, you have to set it free. And even though he loves doing what he does, even though Cuban loves doing Shark Tank, sometimes you have to just focus on other things that are more important than that.